Welcome. In this short video we will be looking at how easy it is to set up Barr EOM to deliver your documents electronically via email. Specifically, we will be looking at the following customer scenario. Documents will arrive into Barr EOM, in this case from a watch folder. We will use the document's metadata, specifically a document name, to look up an email address of the recipient, and then we will route the document to the respective email address. So let's get to work. I'm bringing now up the EOM console, which is the administrative user interface for Barr EOM. So let's say that our scenario involves bringing in some PDFs and then having to send them to email addresses, but those email addresses will vary depending on the name of the document. What I have here is a CSV spreadsheet which has the document name in one column and the desired email address in the other column. So let's see how we go about making all this happen. The very first thing we have to do is, of course, to create the email destination out of Barr EOM. So I'm going to right click and choose New Destination. And the first question we get is what kind of destination we want to create. We're not going to make a printer this time. Instead, we're making an email destination. I choose email, I click OK, and we get the configuration screen for the new destination. The very first thing is, of course, to name the destination. I will call it sample email dest. I can add comments and description, location, but I'm not going to do that. The next question is to choose an outbound email profile. I've already set this up. This contains all the information about my login for SMTP purposes and username and password, etc. for actually sending the email. Now notice how there are two columns here, one for the default value and one for the dynamic override. If this email destination was always going to point to a particular address, then we would use the default value. But in our case, we want to vary the email based on the document. So instead of choosing default, we will choose the dynamic, and I'm going to right click, choose Insert Document Properties, and I have a document property that I've prepared that contains the email address. I can add CC and BCC information. We're not going to worry about that. I will add info@barrsystems.com as the from field. I will add that to the reply to field. Let's say that in a subject I actually want to add some information. I'll say document is here, and then in the body I can actually add some variable information. For instance, your document named, and now I will right click and say Insert Document Properties and choose document name coming from, and now I'll right click and enter once again variable information. In this case, let's say we'll choose source name, has arrived. So this is the message that we expect recipients to receive, and once again notice a few pieces of variable data. Okay, I'm going to hit OK, and now we should see a new destination created right here in the tree called sample email dest. Of course, I could move it to any kind of group I would like to. The next step now is to set up the business rule that allows us to populate that email address field depending on the document. So I'm going to open Business Rules by going to Tools and Business Rules. And in the Business Rules Manager, we are going to create a new rule that specifically populates this field. The way to do this is to, of course, name it. And then under conditions, we'll make the condition be that the source of the document is what we will be using, which is a watch folder that we have here under sample sources called marketing docs. Of course, we could be receiving these documents through lots of ways, mainframe, IP, etc. And then under actions, we are going to use a set document properties action, because what we are trying to do is populate a particular document property, in this case called email address. In this field, I will be right clicking and we'll say lookup CSV, because we are going to be looking up this information in the CSV file that we looked at just recently. I will click the ellipsis, and since I've put this file on the C drive, I will browse through the C drive, and here it is, our CSV file called email CSV. Then I have to say what we're going to use as the lookup data. As I said, document name is what we're using. The next field asks me for the column name in the CSV that contains the respective data, which is document name, and then what is our column that contains the email addresses. There was a column in the CSV called email address. I click OK, OK, and here we have our action. I will add one more action, which is of course to route these documents to the email destination that we created. So I'll pick route to destination basic, and then in this list I'm choosing the email. One more OK, and here we have our rule completed. So let's see what happens now when I actually drop a few files into the folder. We're going to click on the email destination so we can watch its queue, and then I'm going to take some of these PDFs and drop them into the watch folder, and then let's watch what happens in EOM as these become absorbed. They should be starting to come in right about now, and as you'll notice, each one as it comes in has a different email address. This email address of course was populated as a result of looking up in the CSV file every single one of those files. So you want to see what the email actually looks like? Let's release this particular one, which is going to my email address. I'm going to right click on it and choose ready. As you can hear, the email has dinged because I've received a new email, and when I open it up, there we go. We have your document named a bikestore.pdf coming from Marketing Docs has arrived, and attached is the PDF with the document. Hope you enjoyed this quick look at how easy it is to set up dynamic email delivery using Barr EOM.